We're really proud of our son Andrew. He does really well despite his anxiety, which is part of his condition, his ASD that he's diagnosed with. He's just got such a sense of humour. He's really good company, isn't he?
Yeah, he likes getting involved in conversation with perhaps older people as well, you know, and he's very knowledgeable on current affairs and stuff like that, so he always has an opinion, whether it's you know, on something on the news or something like that. So
he loves a good discussion, really does, likes to get his teeth into things. I think things at primary school began to become a bit of a problem, moving perhaps year 3 and year 4. He started complaining about things at school and not wanting to go eventually. There'd been the odd thing preschool, but nothing that had really rung any bells, other than like at preschool he wanted to spend long in the sandpit perhaps, and didn't see the logic in answering the register every day, and things that he found silly or not fair really grated on him more than your average child, and he would really become a massive thing for him. But at the time, you know, it was just interesting. It wasn't really anything we thought was a particular problem. And he ran away, didn't he, from school?
he did
in
run
that
away
period,
from school.
because he just really didn't want to go, and that obviously meant business, didn't he? He really was quite unhappy.
Yeah.
And I think even during the holiday time in those years, the sort of comments he was coming out with, who showed his mood really was going down, and we hadn't a clue that there was anything underlying that really at that stage. But obviously, it wasn't developing as we wanted him to at that stage. We were getting a bit worried, really, weren't we?
Yeah, it was some time later that it was diagnosed. I mean, it's years later that it was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. The teaching support at Andrew's previous school was didn't really work, really. In some ways, they had a thing called inclusion there, which was good for a mainstream school where children who were struggling getting into class or whatever could go into this place, you know. But and Andrew did go in there quite a lot, but he really did struggle.
In my mainstream, I didn't feel very understood. The teachers didn't really have time for me, and every day was a battle, really.
I think when we first came to the school, we were just relieved that we were understood finally, and that it was a place, talking to the staff, where they totally understood what we'd been through and how Andrew was, because they'd obviously seen it so many times before, and it was just a blessed relief, to be honest.
Andrew's achievement since he's been to this school is he's started sitting exams again, hasn't he? And then he did his GCSEs a year ago, and did very well in them as well. Not only did he sit 6 or 7, but did very well and got some good grades as well. And he was very pleased with himself, really, for somebody who'd struggled to sit down and concentrate and study for an exam. You know, to actually do it, it was great to see, and he was so pleased with himself as well.
He's even, I mean, we can't believe it, but he's even got himself a part-time job, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And really well thought of at that, you know. I mean, he really tried at his best, like he does, and who'd have ever thought that he would have had the confidence to do that himself and put himself out there, you know.
When I first came to the school, I was quite nervous, quite shy. Didn't speak to many people, and I rarely left the house at home. But over the past few years, it's changed dramatically, really. I now quite happily go and sit in a cafe on my own. I can go into shops, do anything. It's quite liberating.
When he first came, I just remember the conversation around the table here, and he didn't have any ambition, he didn't have any hope that his life could change, because his life was miserable then. He was just, I suppose he was worrying about everything, wasn't he, or didn't see the way forward at all. But now it's just, you know, so much has opened up for him. It's brilliant. He's fulfilled himself, hasn't he, really, I suppose, and it's been good.
The staff here have been really brilliant, really, and they understand Andrew from when he first came in, unlike the other schools, you know. And I think it's the fact that Andy has a key worker as well who understands him, and he can go there any time and talk to his key worker, and the key worker talks to us as well.
yeah.
You know, and I
Yeah.
think there's that weekly, either by phone call or by email, or you know, as he's got older and he's perhaps not needed that same sort of one-to-one all the time. It might be just as and when, you know. But in the early days, you know, your key worker was phoning you every week for a good half-hour chat.
Yeah.
And or an email, and that was really good. You know, because like say Andrew said, they get me here. You know, that made the big difference to Andrew, really.
Prior to coming to the school, my home life wasn't brilliant. It was quite disrupted. There was a lot of arguments. I wasn't happy at home or in school. And then when I got here and settled in, it was much more stable, much more calm. I was enjoying both home and school, and it showed for the rest of the family. I think it improved everyone's quality of life, really, not just mine. Yeah.
I'd say the school is really amazing, really. It's life-changing. Do you want to add a word to that?
Well, it's, yeah, like you say, it's made the difference, hasn't it? It's tailored to the needs of the child.
And what would life have been without the school?
Life changing. Did you
Yeah,
say that?
yeah.
Life saving.
Life-saving. Yeah, it can save not just your son, but it can also save your family as well.